get back to talking topic du jour. So again, welcome everybody to Onboarding Tooltips for directorywebinar.com, number 23. Again, we're going to get to this in a little bit. It's continuing our onboarding series. We went over a bunch of other topics, sets in previous weeks, onboarding stuff from drip emails to email campaigns to the tours, which we were just talking about. We're trying to get Eduardo straightened out for a package that he won a few weeks ago. But I've gone through some different onboarding stuff, and today we're going to talk about tooltips and a little bit about pop-ups. Not totally about pop-ups today. We're talking about tooltips, but we'll get into that in a little bit. I got some demos there of kind of what you can do maybe on your BD site for some easy ones, and then I got a couple live examples of one that I've used. I have a piece of software on there that has some tooltips just to kind of show you what you can do with tooltips and pop-ups. So we can have a discussion on that. Before I continue, though, I know everybody who missed out last week on the DMARC and email SPF settings and all that kind of stuff on how to do that for your websites. We'll be happy to know that I recorded a 1 hour presentation for your falling asleep pleasure on that particular topic. So if Frank, I know, don't go there now. I know Frank's on his way to go watch it immediately.
Yeah, I'll be back later.
Yeah.
Is this Christmas early? Thank you.
I know. It's like the late Black Friday gift, you know, it's free. And but anyway, it's right here. If you go to directoryvideos.com, it'll be right here. And it is now posted for you. Again, it goes into all details of all those different things that you want. A couple things you could potentially look at that may be causing some spam issues with your particular DNS settings in your BD directory. So go ahead and watch that if you want. It's actually 1 hour and 9 minutes. I lied. It's a little bit longer, but we'll see. We'll see if that goes past one view ever. But
thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no worries. So hopefully that can help some of you guys out there. But before we get into that topic set, anybody have any discussions or questions? Anything new with BD or new with you guys with the holidays, or any questions you guys have?
I'm just loading more sites into my site. So I'm going to start out small and gradually build it up. With the advice you guys give too, I think it makes sense. Get going on a smaller basis and then build it up.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to have a bunch of listings. It's another thing to have a bunch of crappy listings that nobody wants to look at or can't get any information out of, right? So yeah. I think just having a couple of valuable stuff, and it becomes harder to find in the search results too, right? So when you guys have 18,000 uploaded stuff that you got from a Fiverr person in India that grabbed all the stuff from you, great, but you got to be able to, it's got to be usable interface and something that they're going to want to find, research. And again, because you're grasping for the attention of the new followers and talking about onboarding, right? If the onboarding process is they hit the search button and they get a bunch of no icon things that have a phone number and a website, you're like, okay, I could just got more of this out of the Google search, right? You're not trying to replace Google. You're trying to provide a service to those people, the community, an article, or whatever you're doing for your directory, for your niche, or whatever you want to have a little bit, some additional content there other than an empty listing. So, yep, highly advise you to do that and kind of add some stuff a little bit as you go. Ray, welcome. Getting the full house today. This is good. So again, anybody can jump on the camera there if they want and jump in on the audio whenever throughout the day here. All right, so good. So Mark's adding some stuff to his. Frank, anything new with you?
No, not really. Not really. I've been trying to work on some other projects, so I haven't really had a chance to do much from the BD stuff.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that we're talking about, like the onboarding stuff, we're talking about. I was just telling somebody today. I think he's not on here. Leo, welcome. Michael, welcome. So what I was saying is a lot of times, especially as onboarding stuff, you got to think about how are you going to structure it, right? A lot of this, you can't just throw it together. A lot of these are intertwined in terms of the customer journey. If you're sending out emails, what are you doing first or on the onboarding process? What are you sending out later? Are you sending, a reminder or a feature stuff a week later? How are you doing that? If you're adding some other videos or training or tool tips, when are you introducing that to them in terms of their customer journey? So it takes some thought and it takes some work to do. The good thing about all these onboarding stuff is that it's usually additive, right? And so that's kind of what Mark was saying. As soon as you get the email train down, right, for your drip email campaign, if you got that down, you don't have to do that again. I mean, you can tweak it, right, or change it up, but you're done. You can start adding a different email trail. Start working on some segmentation. Maybe if somebody leaves and you want to try to get them back, or somebody is thinking about leaving, or they haven't upgraded by the getting close to the end of their trial. What email are you sending then, or what kind of video can you provide them, or onboarding kind of stuff? What's your process? Are you going to call them, when they get close? So all that stuff takes a lot of thought to get through, and you want to just keep adding stuff week after week. So let me go ahead and we'll just get into the presentation today. And again, this is kind of open for everybody. If you haven't been here before, feel free to stop me as we're going through there. We can have conversations, and we'll open it up here after we go through the presentation. The thing today for tooltips, I'm just going to go over specifics of that, but I want to go over some of the stuff that we've talked about earlier. This is one of the slides that we did from the help here section, but this applies to the tooltips here as well, because basically the tour that we kind of showed you in the week for the help year is kind of like a step-by-step process trying to get people to do a certain particular task. The tooltips or pop-ups are basically a similar thing, only you can do them a little bit at a time, where it would maybe only do one of these things at a time. It kind of goes up and then goes away, or you present a thing and then they move on. It's not like a step-by-step, but they can do all of these things for tooltips. So we're going to show you a couple examples today. But the powerful opportunities that you can do for onboarding, you can do that tour, which we just talked about, but you can just do a welcome message to say hi to first-time users. So you could set it up that it only shows up to people the first time, right? And they just get the message, just a welcome, maybe highlight something, and then it goes away. They'll never see that again because they've already been there, and it adds that cookie to their desktop. You can do a pop-up message to announce a product. Like if you come to a site and you are learning about something for the first time, you can pop that up and show them that. So I'm gonna kind of roll through a couple examples here let me go back to my screen here as I go through this. So I'm going to go back to my directorytoolkit.com. I'm just going to refresh the screen. Now here's an example of a feature pop-up, right? I've got it on my home screen right now. So if you go to directorytoolkit.com and just open it up on your browser, this is exactly what you're going to see after it loads. But it's just kind of as they're browsing here, it's going to give them a pop-up to hopefully highlight a feature here if my site ever loads here. I'm streaming here, so it's probably tasking my system a little bit slower. Here's hopefully we'll boot up a little bit faster. But you can set it to pop up with a particular pop-up here. This is what happens when I do a live demo. It worked great. Oh, there we go. What it did is just popped up with and now it's going away because I clicked off again. So now it was just popping up a pop-up here about the webinar. So anybody browsing my site here during the webinar time is basically going to get an invite. And this could be a new product. It could be something else that you guys have on your site that you're trying to highlight. It doesn't even have to be a time type thing. You just want to highlight something on there that that you're doing new, just so that they're aware of it. And then again, it just shows it once and goes away potentially. And it just kind of is an alert for them to be able to do that. So they don't have to browse to a specific page. They don't have to click a specific link. They don't have to go anywhere special. You're basically pushing your topic that you want to present to them at a particular time or a particular page without them having to do it. So here we go. It says our webinar goes today at 1:30. Go ahead and join it. And I just have a couple buttons here. It says I'm in or just browsing. So if I click just browsing, it'll close it out. If it says I'm in, it's going to open up to our webinar here, and they can go ahead and join us in the room right here. Is anybody in the room because they just happen to be browsing my my website and join that? Probably not. But
Ryan?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I also got a pop-up, the welcome pop-up at the same time to the left.
Yeah, so that's one just for a chat to help them out. But yeah, so you can have a couple different ones. Yep, that one's always on there. I just did this as a demo, but that's like the pop-up to say, hey, thanks for coming to my site, and then what can I help you do on my site? So yeah, you obviously don't want to get too over crazy on all the different pop-ups. To Mark's point, because I didn't get it because I've been to my site before, obviously, but you don't want to have so many stuff popping up where they're just like they're thinking you're going to spam them right and left on here. Just trying to provide an example here of what you can do. And so that one's on my site there just to get some extra people on the webinar potentially, right? So that's an example of that. You can do banners to promote new infographic and ebooks. So if you have an ebook, you're trying to get them to sign up for something, you can do that. You can give a warning, like if you have a problem in your system that you wanted to alert them that right now the emails are not sending, or there may be some problems logging in or something. You can do that. Notifications to inform them about changes, right? It can be updates for improvements that you've made to your system. It could just be something that BD pushed out, and you're pushing it out as a new feature or as a new item to your clients. You can notify them of additional changes. The contextual messages for complex features and form fields, you can do that. You can use hotspots to highlight specific areas on your website, and then you can get some survey or feedback data as well. So a lot of these different softwares, I'm not going to push any particular software today for anybody. There's tons of them on there. You can manually code these in, some of them with CSS or some JavaScript if you grab it from somewhere else, and just put it in your code. But the real important part here is the process, thinking about what you want to do. You want to have a specific action and create a pop-up or a tooltip or something like that that can provide that functionality for you. So again, please, if you guys are interested in any of these other ones, go back to some historical, presentations there. We went over some tours and training videos and tutorials and drip emails. And today we're going to talk about tooltips and pop-ups. So some of the other methods that we've been talking about for onboarding and trying to get the information out to your users when they come to your website. So today specifically, we want to talk about tooltips. And so I think everybody kind of knows what they are, but I'll just generically, state what they are here. They're user-triggered messages that provide additional information about a page element or feature. So the important thing about a tooltip, the one I just showed you is not really a tooltip. That was a pop-up, obviously, but the tooltips are user-triggered. And that's the important part of that. So it's not something that you're forcing to them. It's something that you're providing additional information that can help clarify, provide intent, to provide amplifying information for something that may be confusing, but it's something that you're adding value to your page or your processes to make their pain points easier, to not have them question how something is going to work, or if they're curious to find out more, want to know how a procedure is what's going to happen next. For example, it can provide that information for your users. So here's a couple examples of what you can do for tooltips. You can use them for hints, right? So here's an example of a website, GitHub here. And so they periodically alert users just randomly to offer helpful hints about their system gradually as they level up their product usage. So again, a lot of these tooltip products and stuff you can actually set up so that they occur at certain times. Like they've been on your website, or they're a visitor for a month. They've been there for over a month, and you want to show something because they've been there, or they've logged in a certain number of times, or they came from a particular location. There's all sorts of triggers that you can set. And I'll show you one earlier today that I used to set up all the demos today, just to kind of show you what those things can do. But you can set all these things up and trigger them for different points. And here's what GitHub does here, where they just kind of enlighten something there on how to faster use the search bar by using the shortcut. And so it's not really anything anybody needs to know. It's just amplifying information, how to use their system better. And then all you have to do is click the got it button, right? And then it goes away. So it can be hints, just something that you want to provide your users. Because a lot of times people fall into this trap with, especially with BD, is that it does so many different things that they try to put every single feature on their pricing page, or they try to tell them every little thing it does. Well, they don't need to know all that stuff right away. In fact, it's almost like a really good hidden surprise if they start learning more and more. Every time they come back, they learn something new and like, wow, there's so much stuff in the system. They see how valuable it is. But you don't need to fire hose them necessarily at the very beginning. So there's one example. They use it for hints. The other thing you can do a tooltip for is you can use it for persistent queues. So a lot of obviously SaaS or online things use it just to highlight what an icon is, right? So it could be a little proprietary icon. Not everything's like the B, right, for bold or italics. Not everybody knows what that is. That's kind of universal, right, for inserting a link, but it also shows the Windows or the Mac key there to get that to come up. Faster by using the shortcut. So it's providing additional information, right? But it's persistent. It's always there. It doesn't come up at certain times. It's just if you hover over that icon, it's going to show up. So you can do the same thing on your directories for the pricing page, for example. The queues are always there. Every time somebody hovers over a particular item, then it'll show up, and you can give additional information for that. So persistent queues is another use. The third one that you can do is you just provide additional information, right? So it doesn't even have to be an icon or a button. It can be text, right? In this example, it says, "What's this?" with a question mark. So it kind of it begs the question, like, there's more to learn about this. What is that? And so even if you know what that is, and I don't know what a bounce hook is, but it says it explains that. So when you hover over it, it provides additional information, tells it what it is, right? So you don't want to necessarily put all that data in there in parentheses or something. You don't want to put that in there. It wouldn't look good on the form. Sometimes some forms don't have that description tab. We do in BD, so I implore you guys to use that stuff. If you want to have some information on the description tag for a particular form field, and we'll get into where that's at here in a second if anybody wants to see that. Go ahead and put that stuff in there and use that, but don't necessarily have to use a tooltip. You can put it into the actual description. So let's go on the back end real quick. And we'll show where to do that. If you go to a toolbox in your form manager for your particular site, just go ahead and pick any form. I'm just going to pick a random form here just to show you guys where that is. We're going to use the featured badge contact us form that I made. And just when you're in there and editing the form, there's going to be a bunch of different field sets in here. And sometimes people don't realize that there's other additional options in here. So if you go to the field settings and click that for each one, they both just pop down when you click on that. There's a field instructions or help text is what's in here. So all you have to do is type in, this is the blah, 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 right? Whatever you want. And that field instructions is going to show up underneath a particular form. So I'm sure you guys have seen that in the BD where it says email address and then, or like say Facebook thing. And then in the directions, it says, for example, HTTP facebook.com/your username. And so it gives you an example. That text is added into the field instructions for that particular item. Now, I don't know if any of these have something in there already, just to show you what that is, but you get the point. Whatever you type in there in the field instructions will show up on that particular field. So that's an example of something that you can do. And then some of these you can get, really fancy, and you can actually have additional, further information in the actual pop-up. So if that doesn't satisfy your itch, like it's still a pretty complicated thing. It explains what it is. But if you want to learn more, it says click here to learn more. That would actually open up in another page, and maybe there's a whole page on what that is, but it doesn't need to be on the form. So those tooltips can provide additional information. So here's some do's and don'ts, the 4 do's and don'ts here for tooltips when you're thinking about how to do this. So do not hide required information. So we were just talking about the description, right, or the help text for a form. Those tooltips should provide additional explanation to amplify understanding, not provide the required information. And what I mean by that is, if you have this is a screenshot of a password one, like you don't want to have people mouse over or click the little I information button in order for them to realize what the requirements for the password are. That should always be visible. Stuff that is required should be in that description tab when you guys are doing your forms. That's what I would recommend. Because what's going to happen is they're going to put in the wrong thing if they don't mouse over that, the instruction thing, or they're going to get it flagged when they go to hit create account, and it gives all these red errors up and down the whole form because they didn't add stuff in there right, and they just didn't know because you didn't provide that. So try to not hide the required information on that. Make sure all that is visible. The tooltip should be, for an example of like, if you're struggling to come up with a password, click here for a automatic password generator or something. That's not required. It's an additional resource or information that is there for that particular item. So don't hide the required information. Second note is you don't want to use tooltips to repeat information. So I think everybody has seen some of these. These are normally the title tags or the alt tags that sometimes people add as a pop-up. And if you don't know what an alt tag is, it says in the code where it says alt equals, and then it's in quotations, add new line in the reference to this picture. And so when you mouse over something, it's kind of like a built-in browser tooltip. It just says something, right? Really short. But what we don't want to do is add those in as tooltips or alt tags with the same information. That does nothing for anybody right there. The button says add a new line, and then the hover says add a new line as well. So if you're going to manually add a tooltip, make sure it provides amplifying information, again, not found elsewhere on the page content, because otherwise it becomes repetitive and you're kind of wasting your time, and that person's not learning anything when they do that. The third thing is you do want to think of mobile usability. Tooltips obviously to have a separate icon like the one examined here, with the photography thing to hover over or click are obviously more universal, because mobile doesn't have necessarily a hover capability, right? It doesn't know where your finger's at. If you touch something on your touch phone, it's going to actually, open that item. So, for example, in the other one where we had the tooltip of the button, you can't really hover over it in mobile with your hand and then get the pop-up. You're going to click the button, but if you click the button, it's going to do the action. So usually if you guys add, another icon with a tooltip, either with scripting or coding or with another platform or service or whatever, that's universal by, you can have that for mobile and for desktop. So just think about that. Think of how your mobile users are using it. And I always recommend too, for all your main pages, and just, again, thinking through your onboarding and the process for your clients, go through all your pages on mobile and see what doesn't look good, what doesn't make sense, what are you trying to click on that you can't. Sometimes it's not even a hover button. It may just be the button. Like sometimes people put links really close to the button, and it's fine for your desktop with your mouse. Like I can get right here and I can click the new, right? I wouldn't be clicking the search. But if you're on mobile, it may be you get the old fat finger syndrome, right? You're going to click both of those or the wrong one if it's too close. So sometimes it's just the proximity and location or size for mobile. That's an issue as well. But it goes for tooltips as well. You want to make sure that it's usable in all the realms. And then you can hide or show stuff on desktop vice the actual desktop. I mean, a lot of the settings in BD does that, where it says hide on mobile and not show it. And that's because sometimes some things just don't show up well on mobile and you want to hide it. So you can do that stuff for tooltips or other items as well. So just keep that in mind. And then the last do here is do ensure that the colors have sufficient contrast. So sometimes I see people put, when they're color coding stuff, either it doesn't have to be gray and white. It can be a different colored blue on a different colored blue, but sometimes it's really hard to see, or I don't even know it's there, or it's just not visibly pleasing, right? They got a dark blue on a dark green, and you're like, I can see that, but it looks like I'm doing an eye color chart for a driving test, right? So make sure that the colors have sufficient contrast. If they don't ensure that there's a moderate contrast against the background, it's going to reduce their use. They're there to be used, right? So you don't want to hide it from people. And then obviously people with less visual acuity, maybe that don't pay attention, like younger or older or whatever, just have a problem with that. Even like color blindness or color issues. Like I said, there's a lot of people that have color issues more than you probably realize. So if they're not distinctive colors there, this isn't even that distinctive, right? I could have black on white and it'd be very clear, but you can kind of see the difference between those. But make sure that it has some contrast and that it makes sense and looks good for your particular profile as well. So those are tooltips. And I want to go over real quickly, and we're not going to go over this today for pop-ups, but the pop-ups basically are the opposite, where it is not user-driven. It's usually done by you. It's preset. It's pre-planned. It's for a reason. And there's a situationally triggered messages that provide additional information about a page or feature. So the one I showed you on my homepage, that was with pop-up. But these can still be relevant to onboarding, right? We're not going to get into pop-ups like to do marketing or lead capture or whatever. That's all a part of the funnel kind of stuff. But we're talking onboarding. There's a lot of different things that you can do that would be a pop-up, but would be for an onboarding reason. And I'm going to show you a couple additional ones for that for today. So again, I already showed you one here, but this would be an example of an onboarding one for. I believe this is, I can't remember what site this was for, but this is a pop-up, right? And so when you go to the dashboard, it would pop this up and said, hey, welcome. This is where we're doing it. Kind of gives an intro. And then they say, yes, help me out. Kind of maybe take you to another training page, or just says no thanks. And then it goes straight to your dashboard. So this is a pop-up, but it's more of an onboarding pop-up, right? Because it's not trying to sell anything, not trying to get any data. You're basically trying to help them out, onboard them, give them initial information, and then show them something. So let me just go back and we'll do a couple more demos here on my site. So we kind of talked about that one. I'm just browsing. That's all good. I'm going to show you one on here that you can, just an example of what you can do for page designation. So let's say on this one, I'm actually on the main page here, and I don't have any, tooltip here. But I added one just to show on the home version. So if anybody knows the / or the home is basically the same thing, but I can add a targeting for some of these tooltips. So they only show on certain pages. And so depending on which, site that you do, you can have them show up for different sites. So just be aware of that. You can have them set up on only certain pages and not show on other pages. So you notice the tooltip just loaded on this page right here. It says purchase a customization for your site. And so I just added a simple one here of what is a customization. A customization is a change to the HTML coding of your directory to add additional design or functionality to your, apparently can't spell check, DITE. That should be site. So that's just an example of a tooltip, right? It's just sitting there waiting for somebody, and they go ahead and click it. So tooltip provides additional information. It could be anything, but that's just one particular example, and you can put it anywhere on your site. And so that's a tooltip that you can have. Some of the other ones that you maybe want to do is more of an onboarding one. So I'm going to go to the dashboard now, right? So assuming we have somebody come up to the dashboard and they've clicked on or logged in to go to their dashboard. I've got one added on here just as an initial intro for everybody coming to the page after they log in to kind of alert them to some additional information for, and this is more of a kind of a pop-up, more of a drop-down once it loads here, just to kind of show them something else to do on the dashboard. And again, we'll wait for that to load. And then, again, a lot of this stuff takes some thought too, right? You want to make sure that it makes sense in that it kind of drives them along that conversion trail of whatever you're trying to focus them on. So there we go. It comes up with a pop-up when they're in their dashboard after a little bit there, and it says, thank you for becoming a tool. We love new members and want to see you succeed. If you successfully complete your entire profile, you'll be entered for a chance to win a free year on our site. How does that sound? And so again, I just got the OK button to dismiss it, or if I say, let's do this, and it clicks the button, then it basically automatically takes them to the contact page, which is obviously the first part of their thing, and then they can start filling out their profile. Now, you could do both. You could kind of have a pop-up or a tooltip, and then you could launch straight into that help your one. Once you get to this page, you could then trigger the help your thing, and they could walk you through there on this page as well. Again, you can tie all these services together to kind of go step by step on that particular item. So that's just another example, but it's an onboarding type process, right? You're trying to get them to do something. And then the last one, I'll just show you on the join page here. let's say somebody goes to my directory toolkit site and they're looking at this and they're not sure if they want to join. They're just kind of browsing on here for a while and looking at the various options or whatever. You can also kind of use these tooltips or buttons to nudge them into a particular direction. So, for example, if they need some additional information, you can add tooltips. And so I added this one it's a pop out from the side, right? Basically has a notification that, hey, we're not sure if you want to join. We have a live webinar that's going to go in 1 hour, 25 minutes, right after I'm done with this webinar. We're going to do I'm not really going to do this. It's just a demo. But we're going to do another live demo, webinar for people that want to potentially join my site. And so if they say no thanks, it closes. If it says sign me up, it goes to your webinar sign up page, and then they can find out more if they're not sure that they want to join your site. So these are just a couple examples, but all onboarding examples, right, of some potential stuff that you could do for your site. So those are more of, I guess, pop-ups. Let's talk about some, tooltips type stuff. So I'm just going to go to a couple directories we've done this for. Let's say on your pricing checklist, right, there's a lot of maybe potentially confusing things of like clients can click and call and chat with you, right? And so you're like, well, what does that mean? So you can highlight over these particular items, and it'll just explain on these tooltips what that is in your pricing menu. So instead of just saying video and photo albums, you could say show off your best work with photo galleries of your beautiful space, before and afters, or videos of you in action. Again, this is for a body sugaring or waxing alternative site. So just an example, but you wouldn't want to put all of that stuff, right, that's in the pop-up inside of your item here. I know some people have tried to do that, and it gets very, very confusing and very convoluted. And having these pop-ups allows you to provide additional information of what that is to help them make their decision. You could color them different, colors as well to make them stand out, but you still have the mouse over options on some of these things to provide information. So that's those are tooltips. That's how you do that. And there's a couple of different potential uses. I'll just open up the floor to anybody that has any questions, and then maybe just show some live examples too of adding additional ones of potential things that you guys think of. But anything from you guys on comments or questions on tooltips?
Which one were you using for the demo?
What tool?
Yeah.
I was using tooltip.io. So if anybody's interested in that, that's what I was using. In-app messaging suite for the web. And I'll actually go ahead and create one real quick just to kind of show you guys how simple that is. But again, all these are potentially a little bit different. Let's say I want to add a tooltip for advertise, right? Let's say I want to say that you can advertise in a sidebar banner or a footer banner or something. I'm just going to make that up. So I'm just clicking on my thing here. It's basically got a pop up here over the website. Let me make sure I'm logged in here. There we go. So you guys see the preview mode. So this one does basically overlays right on the website. So all you have to do is say I want to add one on this page, and say I want to add a tooltip right there or a hotspot. Let me do a tooltip just like we were doing before. So I'm going to add a tooltip. I want to click on the object there, ability to advertise. That's the one I want. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in whatever I want here. So you can advertise on our site in the sidebar or the footer ads. Right, and I could say, let's say, advertise with us, exclamation point. I'm going to bold that. I'm just going to highlight that, bold. I'm going to make the sidebar blue font, and footer ads, make that red. And I can add a link in there, right? So if I wanted that to go to the actual purchase page, I could say, do one of those things where say purchase now, highlight that, and again, make that bold, and then I'm going to link into that one. I can open a link. I can show another campaign, another pop-up, where I can do a close button, or you can run some JavaScript as well. But I'm going to say open a link. I'm going to have that go to my directory toolkit.com/advertise. That's not a real link, but it is for the purpose of that. I'm going to, see, it says, I think it actually knows that's not a URL. Directory toolkit. Yeah. And I'm going to open that in a new tab, right? I don't know why it says wrong URL. Maybe I just have to hit the forward advertise. There we go. So I'm going to open that in a new tab, and then you can go to settings. And so this is what I was talking about different systems or different items. Well, let's say you want to publish it. You want to show the campaign on hover. You can do it on a certain page scroll after a certain timer when they try to exit the page. If they're sitting there for 5 seconds and aren't doing anything, if they click on it, if they input a field, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to do it on hover. You can do it on a specific page or all pages, right? So I'm doing it on the join. It auto does that. I can turn it on or off for mobile. I can segment it for particular people. So I can just show it for people that have, are from a certain country, from a certain device, certain browsers. If I load a cookie, if a certain, if they come from, if they come from the Facebook page from Brilliant Directories, I can show it to them on that referral URL only. If they've done, user activity, if I have, first saw them more than, 4 weeks ago, it'll show up. So you name it, you can kind of segment it on who it shows to. You can also do scheduling. So I did this for the webinar demo, that I'm going to start showing this on a certain date, and I'm only going to display it on specific days, and I'm only going to show it on Thursdays when my webinar is going. And I want to stop it in 2 weeks, right? Because I'm going to stop doing my webinars, or I can just say don't stop. So you can set up when it's going to show. And then you can also position it based on CSS where it's coming up. And then you can also add a custom tag so it triggers a pixel or some other advertising thing. Like if they hover over that, they're obviously interested in my advertisement. I can now add a pixel in there and send them a Facebook ad for my advertisements, because they now know that they're interested in advertising. So all sorts of cool stuff in there. You just hit done on that and save. You can add that as the advertise, just do the campaign name, save it. And then it basically adds that to the list when I close it out. So once that's on the page, it'll load up the next go.
So really no coding involved then, pretty much.
Yeah, no, because it's basically an overlay script, right? So nice. It's using the JavaScript to know, just kind of like the Helpier one that we did a few weeks back. It just kind of knows that element name or that location, whatever, and then it just adds it. And when the page loads, it then just throws that on at that particular location or that node. So, but you can do, you can do other items in there as well. So depending on the type that you want. So I'm just going to go to the preview mode. So there's my webinar homepage. You have the banners. You can do that. You can do the slide out. So there's my slide out. I can just edit that. There's my notification or my tooltip. There's my customization one, and then my advertise tooltip that I just did. Yep. So pretty good system. They're all a little bit different. I mean, obviously some of them are more pop-up advertised, but you see it once you're on the page, then you can go ahead and click to edit that particular.
They really don't add extra load to the page loading at all, do they?
Not really.
I think it says it's like 75. It's 75 kilobytes or something like that. I think it's on their website. Like if it's going to slow it down, but you can see all the different things. That's obviously one of the questions. I did look at that earlier, but I mean, it depends. It depends on if you have a ton of them on your site. That's why you want to take it with a grain of salt on those. Not a grain of salt, but I mean, like, you don't want to add like 50 things. Right. Actually, that was pretty close. 73 kilobytes. There you go. Oh. So you don't want to add a ton of them because then it starts getting weighty or whatever. If it's something that you want later on to pop up anyway, it's probably you want to load it last or put it at the bottom or put that script in the footer. That's another thing where it just loads last. So everything else, just sitting there waiting for it to come up. I think mine took a little bit longer just to do it because I'm streaming the webinar from my computer, right? So it's taking a little bit more bandwidth. It wouldn't normally take that long, but. But yeah, so that's just a couple examples. I mean, there's tons of other ones that have different pop-ups as well. Eventually when we get to the pop-ups one, I'll maybe go over this one. Not Convertify, Convertful. That's one. They're all different things. Some of them take pop-ups with they'll take their emails, right, for signing up for emails. I think that one has it as well. This is another example that I may go into later for the pop-up thing. We specifically talk just about pop-ups or lead management kind of stuff, but they've got all the game, a little bit of the gamification ones, right, where it's got surveys or quizzes or spinnies to win, scratch game card kind of stuff, coupon codes if they watch a video or something. So all of them are a little bit different. So you just got to think about what's your user interface for your particular niche, or what are you trying to do? Are you just trying to entertain them and get leads? Or are you trying to actually onboard them? Obviously, we're talking about onboarding examples, right? So you want to, provide, you can use the same tools. It doesn't have to be salesy. It can be something, well, I mean, this is salesy, right? But it's part of the onboarding process that you use. One of the other, let me just go back to the PowerPoint here. One of the other things that you can do for pop-ups or tooltips, one of the cool things about them is they're very versatile, right? So if you get used to using them and setting them up, again, not to be annoying, but the point is you pop them up on the page and at the time where it makes sense, right? You're providing a resource to those people, and it's like it's going to solve a problem for them. It's going to get them to do something that either they needed to do on their own or they would all normally do on their own. They're going to be asking in their brain anyway, or they're going to want to know to set up their thing, or because they've been with you so long, they want to know what else you have for them, and they're ready to purchase. So all those things on this funnel that you would normally get for a customer funnel through time of going from getting customers to keeping customers, right? That are trying to onboard them and get them to stay with your system. And then after they've been there a while, to continue to grow customers, to avail them of additional stuff that you have available for them to upsell or to provide additional, resources. It helps them out because they're getting whatever you're selling them, right? And then it's helping you out because you're making money. But all those pop-ups or tooltips, they can be used for any of these things, from awareness to interest, consideration, purchase, keeping them, loyalty programs, product updates, check-ins, right? For a survey, for an NPS survey, satisfaction, how are they doing? Maybe a response, maybe sign up to get your newsletter so you can tell them about new products and grow them as customers and cross-sell and upsell and all that stuff. So, again, it takes time to set all this stuff up. I don't even have that, all set to go on all this stuff. It just takes time, but they're additive, right? And so once you have them in there, and obviously you don't want to have it there if it's not working or if it's not executing, take it down, or if people find it annoying, then remove it if it's not doing what you want to do. But as you keep adding those layers of stuff, you're gonna get more customers, right? You're gonna keep more customers because they're filling out their profile, and they're gonna start getting more leads because people are looking at that, and then they're gonna stay a customer. And because they're staying longer and you're telling them about additional stuff that you provide, they're gonna buy more, and then you're gonna make more money too. So everybody wins on that, but you just have to kind of build it over time with the tooltips, and this applies really to anything. The tooltips, this could be your email stuff, right? You're going to email, drip emails to potentially people that are interested and fill out your lead magnet. You're going to email them to try to get them into your service. And then once they're in your service, you want to make sure that you're emailing current customers to tell them, what's next or what's available. You guys probably got an email saying that the webinar was happening today, right? So you want to keep the customers informed, get them onboarded, and then same thing. If they're in your list and they're interested in additional products, you have a new whatever that you're selling. If you add advertising, or if you're offering a new paid, like let's say you're going to start doing some influencing stuff and posting stuff on your Instagram account for businesses or for people in your niche, you have that new offering, provide that in the email, right? So all these funnel focuses apply to all those onboarding things that we're doing. It's not necessarily just onboarding, it's keeping them and growing them as well. So something we hadn't really talked about in the previous weeks, but very applicable to all of these different topics. So I'll switch it back to the audio visual here. Any other questions from anybody? That was a good question from Mark. See if anybody else has joined us here. Leroy, welcome. Leo. So yeah, go ahead. Frank, were you saying something, or was that Leo?
That you left us speechless.
I think we good or bad, right?
Oh, very good.
So the tool, I mean, obviously on the tooltips, what you want to do is make sure it means something, that it's going to produce something, right? Don't have the tooltip just go up there with where it says, if it says video and audio, like, post, when you highlight over there, don't say you can add video or audio posts, right? That doesn't provide any information. What you could maybe do is provide additional, maybe the number, right? Or the number of photos that they get, or how much an additional one is going to cost. Maybe you don't want to put it right on the thing that says every video is another $5. Maybe that's in the on hover event for that. Let me just go to another example of another one. I think it's still up here. I just want to make sure before I go there. You don't even have to have a tooltip thing. It can be actually a pricing widget that can have the overlays right on the particular pricing modules as well. So let me go to this one. So here's an example of another directory, right? And they just have a pricing widget on here, but this widget has all of the stuff on here of what they're selling for their particular plans, but it's got all the pop-ups here, and all of the pop-ups, right, explain exactly what that is for you and what the benefits are. And again, these pop-ups can be pretty extensive, right? Because you can get them as big or as much information as you want, and they're not going to gunk it up really, because you're not going to see it unless you mouse over it. So again, just another example of what some other people are doing on their brilliant directories to add some pop-ups or tooltips. Here's an example of that. Of the lead pricing, right? $3 per lead here kind of goes into exactly what that is. And it says, click here to learn more about why we charge for leads. And it kind of explains on the page, it says, why do we charge for leads? And so if you're concerned about that, like, I'm not buying this, and then it can kind of lead you away. Just be careful about that, of leading the links away from your join page, because obviously you want them to come back. So I would always make sure that it opens in a new tab as opposed to the same tab, because you want this one to still be there if they close out that other page that's still there for them to purchase. Rich, are you in here yet? I don't know if Rich is in here. I was just talking to Rich before the meeting here, and we talked about adding additional stuff to your dashboard last week. And after the webinar Wednesday from last week, he actually went ahead and did some of these items. What he did, we were talking about onboarding. If you guys are not familiar with the back end here, that you can send them to another page. Let me go to the finance and membership plans, just kind of show you where this is at in the back end. You can change where somebody goes or gets redirected after their initial sign up and after they log in every time into their membership. So two separate ones, first sign up and then after their login. And where it is it's basically right here on the main tab here, the signups and upgrades. When you go into edit a particular membership level, it's redirect page after sign up and redirect page after login. So what we were talking about last week and what Rich has actually instituted, he started adding a different redirect page after login. So instead of just showing them their dashboard with a bunch of buttons there and adding their profile, after they add their profile, or validate or add their QR code or add the whatever else is on their dashboard, they're kind of done, right? With that, it doesn't really help them out after that. And so there may be some other stuff that you want to add in there. He's using a redirect page after login up. So they go to this. When they log in on his Podcasters Directory site, they come here, welcome to your member homepage. And now instead of seeing their dashboard, they got other stuff that he wants them to see, tutorials, a marketplace to explain more about their site. Basically, he could do sales here, right? Or any new updates or whatever. It goes right on this homepage. And it's as simple as making a new custom web page in your editor and using all those new drag and drop elements that have been in there and make some content and then just add that, grab that URL, put that in the particular website and shove them here. And he's got a thing here that now it says dashboard, make sure it's up to date to get more bookings. And now they can go to their dashboard by clicking that. And then that opens up to their dashboard. Like if I click that and open it up, now it's going to the dashboard. But today we talked about something else you can do. Not only can you make another page on that, you don't even have to make another page. You can actually add that same content to a widget and then add the widget to the dashboard. And so let me show you where that's at in there in the members dashboard. There is an option here for a dashboard header content. There's also one for footer content. And what it allows you to do is to select a custom widget that you want to show at the top and the bottom of your particular dashboard. So the one that we're showing here is the header. If the footer would just show up down here below all of the rest of the stuff, it'd be down here. But you have both of those options. So if you have other stuff that you don't want to take up the top, but you want them to have it on there, you can put it in the footer, separate widget, or you can have it up here. So now all he did was we added the content that was on this page, just added it into a widget, just pasted the code into a widget, and now called that widget on the dashboard. Now all that interactive stuff that was on that one page is now kind of in, you got the best of both worlds. You got all the content and, they can go straight away with publishing content, editing their listings, doing whatever they else need to do on their dashboard without having to click the My Dashboard. So obviously that would need to come out here because they're already on the dashboard. That doesn't do anything. But that allows them to have additional content here that he would otherwise have lost on the other page. But any questions on that or on how to do that? So there's a good onboarding technique there. Make a page, add some content. If you want, direct it to them after login or add it to a widget and add it to your dashboard in that custom widget option in the settings. Is everybody still on tryptophan from Thanksgiving there, going to sleep? Any other comments here? We don't have to talk about this stuff. Any other onboarding topics or questions or anything about what we went over or just BD in general?
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one real quick one. On the different pricing packages page where you have it listed, how do you change the colors at the top of each heading? Right now I have them all the same color, but is there an easy way to make them different colors? Or
there is. Give me a second here.
Okay.
So what you want to do for changing, oops, sorry, you're on my screen here again. There we go. You see my back end again?
Yes.
Okay. So Mark's question is, where do you go to change the menu header? And so let me just go back to a menu page. You're talking this right here, right? You're saying mine are all blue?
Yes, correct. Right.
Or we'll go to I'll actually go to yours real quick. That's your main one.
Mine's all gray.
Okay, yours all gray. All right. It doesn't really matter on that.
It's directory.ohio because it's a subdomain.
Yeah, that's fine. I was going to say, but you said it's all gray. It doesn't matter whether it's blue or gray. So they're all the same color, right? So Mark's question is, how do you change one of these to a particular color? So for example, I'll pull up Frank's. We've already edited his. So this is what Mark is asking about. Let me go to his join page. So Frank's got the bronze, I think bronze, silver, gold, whatever it is. There we go. So he's got silver, gold, and platinum, right? But each one of these are different color corresponding to that, and diamonds with gray there. But so Mark's asking, how do you do that? How do you change that to a particular color? So what you want to do is go to. Let me actually go to mine real quick because I'm going to edit this one real quick. So I don't remember what color mine are. And then we'll go ahead and edit that once I figure out what color I want to do. And I'm just going to add it as one of my colors here. All right, so mine are all blue. I want to make this premium membership the pink that I have on there, or purple. I'll use one of those two. Let me go back to my homepage again. Try to grab that pink color. There we go. I'm going to grab that pink color real quick. All right, so I got that saved in there for the hex kit. So I'm going to go to my setting and my toolbox and menu manager. Okay, and then go to your pricing menu. Obviously, you may have changed your name around. Mine's pricing page menu. I'm just going to go ahead and edit that. I'll go ahead and put this in the chat here when I'm done for the coding on this. But let's say I said this one, right? The actual color.
Okay.
This is my best banner there that's at the top, but I want the actual color to be different. So what you're going to do is go to the settings. Again, it's going to drop down for the settings. And in the outer line or list, basically inline attribute right here, this is where you want your styles to go. And so this is what I'm going to do: a style background color of that particular type. I'm gonna copy that. I'm going to put that in the code here in the chat room in a second, so that you guys can add that. But it's in the outer list inline attribute, and that is saved. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh my join page. And in theory, that middle one is going to be pink. Oh, I just did something brand new. I just highlighted the entire thing. I actually like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, don't do that. But I guess I just found something new. I'm going to highlight and have everybody do. But you can highlight the whole thing. Let me go back to that. Apologize.
Yeah, well, it's nice to use that for your, like, where one always is like most popular or recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That would look good for that.
Now, I'm trying to think I'm thinking that is probably messing up because I have the other div already in there. And most people are not going to have that. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure I thought that's where I'm going to put it. So let me double check that. I'm just going to move it over to the general one. No, that did that too. I'm going to get back with you, Mark, on that. I thought that was the outer list.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Maybe it's the wrong one. Maybe I'm doing the wrong one.
My page.
Was that?
I said it's right on my page. You can see where it is.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm not logged in as you though. Let's see, menu line. Let me do this one, the menu item, as opposed to the outer list. That's probably what I'm doing wrong.
You did something wrong, Ryan?
Don't worry, I'm going to edit that out.
Well, we're going to edit back. We're going to edit it back in or whatever. We already took a vote. You got out. You better pay closer attention to the chat. There's a lot of stuff going on behind your back. I'm not saying who. but his name rhymes with Mark.
I need a chat monkey that's monitoring that for me. There you go. So I was doing the wrong thing. So yeah, you just need to add it into the actual the menu item line attribute, not the outer. But now you can do both. They basically you can do the outer and the inner, the inner and the outie.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going back to the chat. I'll add that in there. Deborah is probably talking trash. Is that who's doing that?
Sorry, I'm late. I've been on Zoom all day.
Kurt was question. Let me go back up there. Eduardo says, do tooltips slow down your site? I think I already answered that. They are, the real thing that's causing the slowdown of the sites usually are just because everybody's loading full size images that are like 3,000 by 4,000 pixels. Sometimes people don't realize that they're doing that. So that's usually what slows it down. Lisa was asking how much does the tooltip program cost? I don't think you want to see the price for that one. If you're asking the one I was using, I think Frank already looked at that. It's one of these things where a lot of times, unfortunately, these businesses they try to get a few clients, and then try to get some high paying clients, and then the rest of them they're fine having fewer clients and just more money. But $249 a month. There you go for that one. If you want that one for the pricing, but again, that one's pretty cool. It works really great. But then you end up paying for that if you don't have a special deal. So again, that may not be the one for you for that pricing.
Just so that you know, once we get help, you're working. Mine's $97 a year, so that's a much better price.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'll probably I have some capability on that one as well, where I can add it to as many sites as I want. So if you guys are really interested and just have some tooltips that you want to do, we can work out a pricing with that too, because I can add it to any other sites unlimited. I just need to I need to manually do it because it's in my account. So and then Kurt was saying, I see they only give us 10 megabytes of space. How many real estate listings do you suppose that would facilitate? Is that, Kurt, was that on somebody's website? I'm not sure what that meant. If you're talking the BD directory, they give you 10 gigabytes of space without upgrading to the VIPs, and then it's 20. If you have and I've talked about this on a webinar before, if you're a really intensive picture site, I would probably use a CDN, a content delivery network outside of BD, because BD is not they're a service provider. They actually don't even host their own stuff. It's not like they have servers. They rent servers, right, from a company that does that, right? Just like Mark, you do. You don't have a server farm in your basement, right? You buy hosting from somebody and set up WordPress sites for people on that. They do the same thing. So they don't have like server farms that they're buying in bulk and selling storage. That's not what they do. They buy that as well. They just provide the software that they're developing. So they're not a content delivery service. So if you're going to have a lot of images and a lot of that stuff, I would go somewhere else that does that as a business, and then add that into your BD site. But I would never have a bunch of photos and keep adding those 20 gigabyte packages from BD because running out of storage. I would definitely do something else.
Hey, real quick question for you, Ryan, on that.
Yeah.
Do those feeds, as far as Facebook, Instagram feeds versus photos, do those contribute a lot or not? Or do they take up much space as far as having?
No, because they're not stored on your site. It's dynamically pulling them from the server. So it's just like a YouTube embed of a video.
Gotcha.
If somebody plays a 10 gigabyte video on yours from YouTube, you don't have any bandwidth. It's not using your bandwidth. It's pulling from them. So same thing for those includes. It's pulling from the Instagram or Facebook servers. It's not like storing it and rendering it from your site.
Okay.
Obviously, some of them might. You just be careful of however you're integrating that in there. But if it's not storing it in your BD server, it's just a script or an iframe or pulling from somebody else's site, you don't have to worry about that.
Gotcha.
So Stacy was asking, I thought I read on the Facebook group that if you charge by the month, the company has to re-sign up every month. Is that accurate, or can a company sign up for a year and pay monthly? I'm not sure what you're asking there, Stacy. If you're using the BD system, it's a membership, and it's like ongoing forever and ever, amen, until they unsubscribe. So that's a membership type. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you go in the back and you've got the pricing, right? And it says like the silver is $29 a month or $290 a year.
Right.
Or whatever, $299 a year, whatever. And they say, I want to pay $29 a month. Somebody on the Facebook group was saying that they have to go in and, I'll say, re-register, for lack of, re-put their information in every month. No? Okay.
Only if their credit card's expiring, obviously. So if it triggers, if it goes on hold or it's unable to charge them or whatever, and it puts them on hold, or they're not activated or whatever, then they do, because they have to go put their credit card information. But if it's a valid credit card that expires 5 years from now and they're paying monthly, they're just going to get invoiced and it's going to auto charge them every month for the next 5 years.
Excellent. Thanks.
The only caveat on that, which people sometimes don't realize, is the digital download item. If you pay that, there's no subscription thing in there. So if you're selling ads for a monthly price, like it's $100 a month for an ad, and they buy that with a digital download, that's a one-time purchase. That's not going to recharge them in a month. Just because you type the words per month in your text thing, that the system doesn't do anything with that. It doesn't cause a subscription. It's going to do a one-time charge them. If they want to have an ad next month, they're going to have to buy that again for the following month. Or you have to use another system, like I use ThriveCart for mine, for any of the subscriptions outside of the BD. If it's just an item subscription, I use that because I can do subscriptions for things, as opposed to a subscription for a membership level that requires another login. So hopefully, if Jason's listening or anybody in BD, it'd be nice to have a subscription product as well. They just don't have that right now.
Well, Ryan, on that topic of, if you're selling advertising to like a sponsor, what have you, you kind of mentioned that workaround. I mean, what's the easiest way? I mean, is it if you're not doing a ton of them, can't you just set up a membership plan but that they pay monthly, but then they can log in?
I would do,
they can log in basically.
I would just set it up as an add-on and have, like, let's say you had 4 different, say, advertiser types, like 4, I got the
Platinum,
featured
gold,
sponsor, the featured on the homepage version, the sidebar category, and the you didn't pay me much, you get the crappy footer plan, right? There's 4 plans. Was that
the official title of that one?
It's on a tooltip though, because it's a lot of extra information. So that would be in the tooltip. So you have all those different plans. What you could do is have, and it may not work for you because you have 20 different plans anyway, but what you could do is have a version of all of your plans that would have a version with that added onto it. So let's say you had a gold member who wanted the site sponsor and a basic member who wanted the site sponsor add-on. You would basically just create an additional membership plan that charges them for the basic plan plus that monthly sponsorship fee. And now that membership plan would be a gold featured plan. And then they would get charged a monthly subscription for both.
The total, yeah. That's definitely easier than trying to incorporate another, plug in and shopping cart and payment system and everything else. Now, just final on that point, what about a configuration where you'd set it up where they could pay for one account on the parent account, and then could you do a sub account with them so they only have kind of one login, but that sub account could be on another membership plan with another payment assigned to it?
No, again, if Jason and BD is listening, that is also another requested item that people have asked for all the time. And the answer is no. Right now, everybody that is on that particular multi-member plan listing is on the same plan as the parent plan. It like grandfathers or carries over that. The only thing that doesn't carry over is the sub-members. So a sub-member can't have its own sub-members because it's only one level. At that point, but that's really the only thing. If it's a rock star podcaster and they have additional plans underneath them, it's going to be a rock star podcaster. You can't have like a guest podcaster underneath the parent one. It gets the same level for all of them.
So they have the parent plan. What about the in-laws plan? How does that work?
Yeah. The in-laws don't even get a tooltip. They're like on a whole different page. They're off on another page.
Okay, I conclude my line of questioning. Go ahead.
So Ryan, on that, you know how I set up my ads?
Hey, Deborah.
I use the digital downloads.
Right.
Can you hear me? So what I found is that during Black Friday, I wanted to add a coupon code to give them, 15% off, or I forget what it was. I think we did a 2-for-1. But you can't use coupon codes with the digital downloads either. So that would be nice to be able to apply something like that.
So if Jason or BD is listening, what also would be nice is coupon codes for product types. So you cannot use a coupon code for product type or digital download. Like Deborah said, it is for membership levels only. And so a lot of people... unfortunately, they're used to maybe how other systems work, and we have entire people that are like, I totally thought that was supposed to do that. That's what I was planning on doing, and they find out too late that doesn't do that, and so there's no way to get around that. Having said that,
I had to change everything. I had to go in and change everything, change the prices, and then go back when the sale was done and change the price back. So, I mean, it's a workaround, but it doesn't seem standard to what's out there right now.
Yeah, that one. And again, I don't know how difficult that is to implement or whatever, but it makes sense you'd be able to use a coupon code for everything in the system, right? Mm-hmm. If it's going through, it should be on the Stripe end, like whenever it kicks to that purchase section of the code, it would just trigger, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a membership level or the other one. It just triggers the discount. And I guess another thing would be nice too would be like rewards or not to say like refunds or whatever. We could give them credit too, right? So even if you couldn't do that, give them a discount and just say, hey, I'm going to charge you if you buy now. We're going to give you a $5 credit on your account towards your next monthly whatever if you purchase from us today. So maybe you don't have to have the coupon. Maybe they go that direction and just open up a different thing, but provide them with a credit. Maybe that would work too.
Yeah, we're looking at like affiliate links or some kind of referral program for our member ad space. And, I'm trying to get my head around it, but without having any kind, I don't even think you can link like an affiliate code to a digital download. I think it only works with memberships.
Yep. So Eduardo was asking a question on, I guess, upselling stuff. We started getting in the conversation of upselling. Let me go to another client site here that has this. I think it will answer your question. And actually, this is actually a good segue. Can you guys see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay. So what she has on her join page is using the digital download, but she's actually selling kind of alternate stuff on the website. And this is just an example of what you could potentially do. Like she's selling the main category photo, like on the homepage where it says like pets, right? We normally just have a picture of a random pet with the background for the category image. She's actually selling the category photo. Like if you want your pet store, the local pet store to be in the image, she's actually selling, I'll put your business logo or your image underneath that pet category on the main page. She still has to deal with that category, right? But she's selling that. She's selling the homepage slider ad. So this kind of gets into Eduardo's question. He's basically saying, can I sell the image on the homepage so that I can put their banner ad like on the main search thing? And the answer is yes. I mean, if it's something in the site that you can do or edit on your own, you could charge them whatever you wanted on this digital download and just do it when they pay you.
Hey,
So
Ryan.
yeah, go ahead.
Is this over and above the listings structure, or is this?
Yeah,
Is
this is the memberships. This is
Oh,
your
okay.
digital download additional advertising opportunities. This is like you click here, you pay me $150, and I'm gonna add your photo to the slider.
Gotcha.
So let's say you have 5 images that are scrolling across for a local directory. If I may eventually do that for mine. If I have Gemmons Hardware, right, that wants to be on my main page on the slider, their business could scroll past everybody right on my main page, but they're going to pay me $150 a month to do that.
Sure.
So is that your question, Eduardo? And the answer is yes, you can do that. You just have to set it up or do it manually. There's no way to automatically do that when they buy it. Their picture shows up there, but
it says monthly. So how are they running the payment processing for monthly?
Manually. So we're doing.
They're manually, right? If they get started, they pay the money, or they pay for the first month, and you just tell them, all right, that's for this month. It expires on the 3rd. If you want to get it set up for next month, just whenever you're ready, just go ahead and purchase another month, and we'll get it set up for and extend it out for you.
So are you saying it's manually, or are you saying the person, the customer, is putting in their information each month? Or you can keep their credit card on file, and
yeah, you can you keep your credit card on file. It's in your back end. So if you want to manually invoice somebody or add a charge in there, you can add them to a subscription or something like that in the back end and charge them, as long as their credit card's on file.
But I think you use the word subscription. So what I'm saying is, when they're selling that ad for $150, or maybe Deborah, if you're doing this, so is that the not PDF? What do you call it, the downloadable thing or something?
Yeah. Well, what we're doing is when they're like, say their 6-month term is up with that one ad space in the sidebar, is we manually remove it. I go in there, I've created a widget. I just remove that image and stick sort of the next person that's in line. We're going to have a wait list where it's not going to be automatic recurring if there's someone else waiting for that space. But yeah, they have to then manually go in and purchase it again. And their credit card, they're already a member, so their credit card's on file. But again, when they purchase it, nothing happens automatically. They get an email, and in our email, we tell them what size of ad to send to us by email. We have to put it in manually. Excel spreadsheet.
So the other way to do that is to, obviously, you can have a server type thing. And let me just log in as one of his accounts here, just to kind of show you what you could do. But you could have another server where you put in some advertising code, right? And this one doesn't do it, but some of the other ones do, where they can actually control what they're purchasing or buying, right? But you would have a zone or placement, let's say in the header or footer, and you can add, just manually add. So here's a test one for my Hudsonville site. It says insert your ad here. But when you add an ad in there for somebody, you can go in here and add it for them, and you can change the order, especially if you're rotating the ads out. You can basically schedule it and say, hey, this one's starting up today on the 10th. They're done on January the 10th, and it's going to go to this particular location in the sidebar. It's going to open up in a new target. You save it, right? They paid it. Now their ad is going to disappear. Like if you're rotating out ads, and this is part of the order, other ads are kind of going in the same spot or rotating. Theirs is going to disappear on the 10th, and until they pay me and I get the payment, I'm like, oh look, John paid his extra $150 for next month. I'm going to log in and go, oh, here's John's ad. Let me change that to he now is done on February the 12th. Save, and I'm done, right? But if I don't do anything, his ad disappears on that date.
Oh, can I use this for the widgets that I've created, Ryan?
Yes, you can.
Oh, how much is this a month? I need a bigger wallet here.
I know all this stuff adds up, right? The good thing about this one, this is why I recommend this one, is because it's very generous for the this free plan, right? So as long as you're not doing, obviously these can do all those Gucci ones like video or pop outs or smoke screen, or like stuff where it comes in interstitials over your screen. It can do all that stuff. But if you just want to swap out the images, let me log out again here real quick, just to get to the pricing page. But this one for free, very rarely do people ever eclipse the need for the other ones, unless you want to use some of the different features. So this can serve up to 100,000 ads per month per site for free.
And so this how it would work. I mean, we still have that manual process of the member creating their ad in the size that we want it. But I guess this would work is once you have that image from them, their ad graphic, as we call it, you could just keep that on file and just continually renew their ads in different locations.
Or if they go off for a time, it expired, right? But it's still in there. And as soon as they pay up, you just go, all right, you're back on.
Could I do this for our, like, we're doing the same thing where we're going to be selling our category images. We're going to be selling our slideshow on the header. We want to get our live members images in there. So that would work for that as well.
Well, you got to input the picture though. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm thinking if somebody wants, I think we've got 7 photos in our slideshow on our header. Or we've got the 81 categories there. So if someone purchases the baker category.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, I'll go over this next. So this is the zones that you're talking about. So you would basically set up an additional zone. It would be header in bakery, header in whatever. You set up a new zone, and then that zone is going to get the code. And then you put that code on that particular zone. And then when you're placing the ad, you say this is going in the sidebar zone. Remember when I was in the ad there and I was editing it? I only have one zone in here, but just pretend that you had multiple zones, or it could even be location. It could be sidebar top, sidebar spot 2, sidebar spot 3, sidebar spot 4. And so you can have different pricing packages for different locations as well. But I'll get to that in a second. But once you get here and it says placement targeting, you would just say, it wouldn't show any particular one. You're like, that one is going to go to the sidebar, or the sidebar and the bakery header, and the footer. You can kind of say, where is that rotating through? And obviously you want to have it sized appropriately for that particular location, right? But you would basically put what zone is that going to be allowed to be shown in. And then it'll just rotate through those particular zones. And then you also have placements. So let's say you have a bunch of zones, but certain ones are restricted to a particular cost value. So let's say you have a premium advertising plan and you have a square ad on the front page. Well, this one is a placement thing. Let's say if I go into here for this placement, maybe that high zone is not that zone is not in that lower pricing. So unless you're in the higher tier placement category, you don't get to go on the homepage. You only get to go on that one on the sidebars. So it kind of allows you to group zones into different placement types. And then you could literally charge different amounts of money for different placement capability. And then depending on what zones are in those placements and what ads are in what zones, you can kind of siphon off which ads go where based on how much they paid you. So you can get very Gucci on the stuff, right?
So there's still the manual part of it, though. Like we have our members get that email confirming that they've purchased the ad. Like we call it reserving your ad space. Right. And then we ask them to prepare their ad and send it to us. But we also say, let us know what page you want to be on. So there's no automation with that, right? They can't go in and pay for something.
Right. No, but then you would just say, when they say what page you're on, you would then just, when you go to place your ad, you would then pick the appropriate zones or the placement categories of whatever they paid for or whatever they wanted. It's as simple as that click that I just showed you on the ad.
Okay. So I guess the key for this really is the benefit is the recurring part of it.
It's the recurring and it's just automated. So you don't have to go in there and change the code. Like all you have to do is upload the image and it's done. You don't have to go in there and edit that. You can add multiple ads in that same spot or zone. So it'll rotate them out. It'll do priority level. And just when people refresh the page, there'll be a new ad in there. And, you can do a lot of different stuff, rotating priority levels, timing. And then you can put that same image in multiple spots because the way you're doing it manually, which is fine, it works, but it's only in that one widget. You want to add it to the other one, you got to go add that image code to the other widget again. and then
That's
go
what I
back
had to do. I have a lady that's in 2 spots, so I had to go and put it into 2 widgets. So
right. But so this is all about setup. So you set up the placements, you set up the zones, and then literally all you have to do to change that out or add another one or order or whatever, you upload the image, and then you say, yep, this one's going to, you upload the image, dates if you want to do it, and you say, yep, this one's going to the sidebar. Done. It's saved, and it just automatically shows up.
do I still have to put it in my media manager? Like, am I uploading it twice, or am I uploading it into
Nope.
AdPlug?
No, you're uploading into here. So again, you're using their bandwidth too. So that's the other advantage.
Hey, I got a couple of dumb questions. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, I can hear the dumb question. Go ahead.
Yeah, good. So this other widget, is that a portal for the advertiser to put in their information, and or a payment?
No, this one is not.
Does it link? I mean, does it sync with your BD account or whatever, or is it just independently? You send them there, they create their ad, tell you where you want to place it.
This is for you to do in the back end. So there's other programs too, and we can go over that. Maybe this is probably another webinar topic, I guess, but there's other services that have it's actually, you're going to pay for that one where it sets up like a client portal, right? And they can log in and they can pay for their ad on your entire portfolio of services, upload their thing, choose which ones they want to do, feature it, the number of weeks, and then they're like, congrats, your article is $900 for what you asked for. Pay here. They'll upload their image. It's all on them. It's like totally customer done. And then you approve it, or it goes in the system. You get paid, and their ad just shows up on their site. You could totally do that. This one does not do this. This is more kind of halfway there, where this is automation for you basically, but you still need to, like Deborah said, you still need to get their ad. They're not going to go pay or do anything on there. You kind of have to use your BD system. You just get their image, and then this is just making it easier for you to swap out the ads or do the advertising.
Sure, it'd be nice if BD put this in as an ad. And these are the kind of things that, I'd pay more for the VIP add-ons if all this stuff was included one day, rather than going to so many different platforms.
There's like, you think about all the stuff that we go over every week. There's just a litany of you're basically asking them to do add everything on the interwebs, right? Into one platform. There's always something more you can add, and we've talked about this before. They do a really good job about adding stuff and editing and tweaking stuff. There is a ton of stuff on there, but when you're trying to make a platform for every every different service, it gets hard. Think about, everybody always compares it to WordPress, but think about WordPress. It is a larger ecosystem, right? But every single one of those plugins is a different company building a specific plugin for a specific thing. It's not WordPress. Doing and saying, hey, everybody, we're going to take control and do all those plugins for everybody and do everything. Not even that one. It's just a different setup, and you just have to, everybody has to realize that. We
run one of our main sites on WordPress. The challenge there is that, like you said, those plugins, they're all independent. They're not related to WordPress at all. So you can, set yourself up for some real, challenges and issues with bugs and, scams and spams and all kinds of crazy stuff where that's more open source. So this is, closed source within BD. So it's more of a controlled environment. So last question on this, because you probably want to go on to another topic, but on that site, so basically you're uploading the images and creating where you want to place it. That will then sync to BD and place the ad directly where you want it. But then,
exactly. So this is all about initial setup. So instead of adding in, let me just go back to the we'll go into the design settings and kind of talk about this a little bit, where this would go. I don't know that I have any on my toolkit one here, but we'll use this as an example in case I do. But this is where you would go, and you go into design settings, and there's going to be the banner code tab in here. And so what you want to do is go into the banner code tab, and when that loads up, there's going to be options to turn on the banner ads for your system, and the ability to add code in there for a particular baseline location for your particular site. And so here it is. It is on. Oh yeah, I do have advertisements on here. I actually have Brilliant Directories listing in here. So all you have to do is click on these tabs, and it's gonna roll down, and it's gonna say use. If you're manually uploading them, you can say use banner, image banner ad. You would just upload an image, and it's there. It'll rotate wherever that widget code is at. Or you can do this custom embed codes. If you're using AdSense or some other stuff from Google, it'll put the embed code here. But this is basically what you're doing. You're saying use custom embed code. You will then add that ad plug code that it gives you for that. This would be a zone, right? It's wherever you add that widget. It's the banner 728 by 15 zone. And then you add that code in here. So once you add that in here and save, you're done, right? As far as BD is concerned. Now, every time that you upload an ad and say it goes in the zone, this is dynamically through that code, embed code that you added into your site. It's just going to automatically push that image into that spot on your BD site. So you would say you would get the tag here, and you say for your use in your own website, you could grab the tag. You basically just put that div code in there, and then in your site, you literally just paste that div code. And now, again, assuming you have the JavaScript in your header there to pull the JavaScript stuff, it's going to replace that div with the div image, right, of the sidebar that's from your system. And then the cool thing about AdPlug too is you can actually give these to other owners' sites that you want to run ads on. So you can actually kind of do a tradesy kind of thing too, where you say, hey, we'll give you a free listing if you put our advertisement on your site. So you can also just give them this script code, and then you can dynamically change whatever ad is on other people's sites by just changing the image.
Oh, nice.
So
that's like a good little affiliate link for our, because we want to do something similar to that, where we have our members put her biz on their website. So we were thinking about I thought I'd have to do like a share sale or something, but this would work too. Well,
yeah, you're not getting any affiliate, or they're not getting any money for this. I mean, it's just going to go to your
okay. Site. Oh, I thought we were going to give them something free, like a month.
Well, you can just manually tell them that. Just say, hey, we're going to upgrade you to the next highest account if you're willing to, put our advertisement banner in your footer or your whatever.
Okay, I get it.
We've got some of our members, they have the default setting when they join. It has the logo at the bottom on their profile. It says, add this to your website.
Right. Yeah, that's right. This is what he's talking about right here. It's in the dashboard. Now you can turn this on or off. In your thing, and it says attract more clients, and it says basically member of the podcasters directory. The only downfall to that is it's hard coded in with that image, right? So if they put that in your site and you change your logo is going to be wrong everywhere on the internet that's been added to. There's no way to dynamically swap that out. So if you use something like that, then if you change the image or whatever, it'll just dynamically change on their site instantly.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. The first time I just kind of stumbled across it on somebody's site, I thought that looks like our logo, and like they use that. Now the challenge, if you go back to that screen, is that for some reason on some of the accounts it has it. That's about the right size. Some of the other plans, it has it like 5 times that size, and I can't figure out how to swap that out.
Yep. No, that's a great question. So what Rich is asking is, he says, hey, this is, and I recommend it needs to be something small. You don't want, you're asking people to add it to your website. I've seen them where they're like this big. You're like,
they're one of the versions is huge.
Page by putting my logo on there, right?
Right.
Which nobody's going to do. So the reason that is showing up, and this is probably what it is, Rich, inside of your membership plans, every membership plan, if you have the VIP add-ons, has the capability to have its own banner badge. There are 3 badges in any particular membership. There is the search results badge. There's the badge on their profile page, and then the third one is the badge inside of their actual member dashboard. And it's in the search visibility. No, it's not. Members dashboard. There we go. No. Third time's a charm, profile page. There we go. Here's the 3. It's on the profile page tab. There's the 3. Profile page badge is normally a square. Then the search results badge, which they say square 50 by 50, but I recommend it could be a rectangle like that because it's kind of going over the other visit page buttons. It's kind of rectangular anyway, so it actually looks good with a rectangle. I would advise doing the full rectangle there. And then here's the other one, member dashboard badge. So if you have not uploaded a particular image, you notice there's already one here. And the reason it's there is because it has the default size or default badge in here that's in the system. So I always recommend overwriting that or come up with one or upload something else that you potentially want to use in here, or just add it for all of them, or keep it generic at first, like a generic badge, and then go in and add special ones for everybody else later. But go find a badge, put that in there for everybody, because what happens is, let me just copy this image address. I'm going to see what this one looks like.
Well, so what you're saying is
so this one's right sized. Go ahead.
That's the one that would appear on their website if they chose to add it to their website. Right.
But I'm saying this one is small enough, right? This one's actually, pretty good size, right? That's what the badge looks like. Sometimes what people do, and you may have done this on yours, I'm not sure, is in the general settings, in the brand images, there is an option in here for default, right here, member badge image. And so what sometimes people do is they're like, when they're filling this out, they're like, oh, here's my logo. I'm gonna upload this, and they upload a 3,000 by 3,000 transparent PNG of their logo. Well, it says 250 by 250. If you upload that 3,000 by 3,000 as the default member badge, and you don't upload something else, that's what's going to show up in your dashboard page. It's going to be however big that is. It's going to show it in real time, real size.
Yeah,
it's right there. So that's probably what it is. I'm not sure for certain, but
yeah. So I need to change the default to the 250 because I probably did this one manually. Because it just some membership plans it comes out this size, and some of them.
So the ones that you didn't manually override, it's then showing this one, and this is probably the culprit right here.
Okay. I want to go back to what Deborah was talking about, the affiliate options here. What would be the best practice, or not so much for an advertisement per se, but like on our just on the homepage, like under resources, or like we created that partner page. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm imagining like a page like under resources or partners where I'm just making up a number. Half of them are paid by the company. The other half, I'm starting to build out some affiliate programs or alliances, so, but then the links can look like an affiliate link. So would you recommend like a bit.ly code, or can we make it just so when they click on the image, it would just go to my affiliate link for, say, microphone company or whatever, right? Or for
you can do that as well. Like we have that on like if you go to mine, you can always obviously add affiliate things. Are you worried about them seeing that it's an affiliate or whatever? I would never generally hide that, but like I've got brilliant directories on mine, right? So if anybody needs the directory, I always go through my site first. Click here to go to the brilliant directories.
Right.
But so these are all affiliate type listings. These aren't ads or affiliate.
You placed them kind of as banner ads. I'm talking about like a whole page that would be dedicated like tools and resources, right?
So I get it, but you're just basically adding a bunch of these together and just kind of changing the image or whatever to make it sometimes people have like a page that says software we love or software we use or whatever, and just has a list of all their software with the logos and a link. And if they click on it, they get money. It's basically saying, hey, here's our sponsors, or here's the people we involve ourselves with, and go check them out.
So you would just put a page of like just a whole collection of images, like in the where the templates have the 3 or the 4 boxes. So just put 4 boxes across the table, across the page, and then just have that page identified as like tools we recommend. But I heard for legal, like partners page, yeah. So for to be in full compliance, you are supposed to put a notation on there that, and you can even say some of these are affiliate links. So long as you have that lingo on your page, you're covered.
Right.
Yeah, so we could just kind of replicate that and call that our, tools or resources. But then each image, it would have the embedded code for our affiliate link.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. But if you wanted to put, we might use the version where instead of just maybe keep it simple, just like a logo, but in some cases you probably want a little descriptive underneath there. This one offers a free account, or this one, lifetime access, or this one will help you save money on your podcasting or whatever, some little.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be an affiliate link. You could just say, you could actually just use it as a resource for your people. Like, hey, I'm gonna. I know you don't have an affiliate. This works too. I don't know you don't have an affiliate program. I want to put your link on my site and give you some SEO love by linking back to your site. Are you willing to offer up a discount for people that come from my page, or like do you have a special code or coupon or something we can use in your system somehow to give my clients a discount just if I link to your page? And they'll be like, yeah, we can do a coupon code and save 10. There's your coupon code, save 10. And they're like, awesome, thanks. And now you put their thing on your site and you put, podcaster directory only coupon, save 10, save 10% by using the following coupon code. Get it today or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm kind of envisioning. And so finally on this topic, would you kind of, just as far as best practices or user experience, as we launch the partner program, would you just roll in some of them as affiliates or keep those completely on a separate page?
Because
it's hard
I don't
to
think
say.
It matters what you call it. I mean, it is still kind of is an affiliate thing-ish, right? But you're just not getting any kickback. I don't think there's a difference on there where you need to differentiate between those. But
well, I'm just thinking like for just for full transparency, like if we said these, Buzzsprout as a partner and Spotify as a partner, but then we put a block in there for another widget that's not like Shure microphones, but they're not actually a partner, they're an affiliate link.
I mean, you could put something, we're talking about subdued, you could put a little badge there just in like silver or whatever that says recommended resource or like affiliate or recommended.
The other one would be partner. Okay.
And just keep everything the same, just change the tag, kind of like you have in the the shopping cart thing here. It's got like subscription, right? You could kind of set it up similar to that, where it would just be one-time fee or subscription, or it would say affiliate.
Oh, okay.
I was actually going to do something like that on mine, where I just put that on there. I don't care, claim it and just say like this is a one-time purchase, right? Subscription or affiliate partner or.
And you just have this set up. It was it's like a blog posting, right? The layout.
Well, no, this is a product post type, but yeah, it's just a searchable. But I mean, you could do similar things with that, right?
So when it's a product post, when they click on it, how do they get to? If you don't mind, just click on one. What's the, payment, or how does the payment end up working when I click on that for a subscription? I go to the affiliate link.
Well, I mean, this one, it depends how you have it set up. So we were talking about, this is what I was telling you earlier about, you set up whatever process you want. Like this is a subscription, but this one, I'm a reseller of this.
Right.
So when they go to purchase now, it goes to the Thrive part on my directory offer domain there, and they actually buy it, but it goes to me, not to them. I just create the account at the cheaper rate for.
And that's a Thrive cart. What are you saying?
Correct.
Do you use that as a plug-in? What's the process to incorporate that?
I'm just laughing at this one. I don't know what. It's supposed to be $45 a month. Apparently, this month. All right, this is your deal of the day, everybody. $44.94. You get 6 cents off today. I don't know what that is.
Oh,
that's
sweet.
Weird.
Yeah.
So get it while it's hot. 6 cents off. So anyway, to answer your question,
so it's basically like a stick of gum. Then basically, I can get with that. Yeah.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah, not a pack, just a stick, one stick.
So the way it works, that one, I just have the link to go to the purchase page. It opens up in a new tab for the purchase. They buy it, and then on the thank you page after they buy it, kicks them back to a thank you page on my directory again, and then they're back on the directory with just what's next, or what I'm going to do for the purchase, or whatever. So they kind of come full circle.
You're using ThriveCart as a plugin for the purchasing of that,
right?
And what's involved in syncing up ThriveCart into BD there?
Just adding the link to the purchase button, right? Because it just throws you to the new site. You just buy it on here, and then it kicks them back to the thank you page once they've purchased. So
yeah, but
it's literally just adding a link.
But to kind of Deborah's point, I mean, this is an application where people can pay online. So does that credit card of that purchase go to, you have a separate Thrive account set up? It doesn't get charged through BD, right?
No, it uses the Stripe account in there. So everybody has multiple subscriptions of different products. It just has all their subscriptions in there on my directory offer site there. They can log in, see all their subscriptions, all that stuff, but it just gets charged via Stripe, via that Thrive card. So it is a different system. But the reason I'm kind of forced to do that's the workaround. It works great for me, but it's just it is another system, but it allows me to have subscription based stuff for products, right? Because I can't do that in here, and I didn't want to do the membership thing because you can't do multiple. The other problem with that is you can't do multiple products, right? If you make a product page that has the additional price as a membership, like you're the gold and sponsor, right. Well, I can't now buy something else from you because I got to get another membership plan. So this allows them, they're all independent, but they can log in, see, like I got Endorsal, I got Book Like a Boss, I got other stuff, and see all their products, and I can charge a subscription thing.
So this is just another workaround to the digital downloads, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I mean, I still have that. I still do the, for a customization or something, like they're like the one-off things where they're, you want something that I have on there for sale or whatever, like the new review, site review. So if anybody wants a site review, you can go here and get that. It's on the main page as well. But for that one, you just, there's not a subscription. It's like a one-time thing. You just want to get a site review. This is using the digital download there. They just charges their account in my system through BD, through Stripe. They click that, it charges them $50, and then they get the site review. Because there's nothing for me to do a subscription for. So I kind of do both.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really had too many, or that I know of, members, when they create a product. My understanding was it kind of would just go to their own website for purchase.
Well, it does, and that's the one that you saw. That's what this is basically using. It's using the one that your members would normally use, right? I'm only using it for mine, right? So it's going to my shopping cart off my BD site. Right. They would put in the thing for their shopping cart, or their like Deborah uses this all the time for her people, right? So it goes to their eBay or their Etsy site, right? It goes off there, but they're just adding the link of where, when they click buy now, where is that going? The client would put that in there.
So that's the same you're doing and directing them to the Thrive cart.
Correct. Yep.
But now as BD site owners, can we post stuff that would just be billed directly and as a one-off purchase within our Stripe account that's attached to BD? And
yeah, that's what I was showing you with the customizations one. It's not the, see, now I'm not on the products and services. I'm on the digital products. This is the digital download, these charged to my Stripe account post. And so that these all get charged straight to your login or your BD system through your Stripe account inside of BD.
Yeah, I think what Rich is getting at, you don't have to have separate Stripe accounts. You have one Stripe account, and you can.
One Stripe account. Yeah, you have separate Stripe, codes, secret codes or whatever. You have one Stripe account. I've got that one Stripe account on probably 20 services. Right, it's the same account. You could set that up for all sorts of things. All the money goes into one pile, and you just get a different API or code to put in, just like you do for the keys on BD. You put in your secret and your public key. For Stripe, you just do the same thing. You generate a new key for Thrivecart. You generate a new key for whatever, and you just add those different keys for each one. Technically, you could have the same key for all of them. I wouldn't recommend doing that because then you can't lock it down if something gets compromised, like the whole system's shot. But you just make a new public key in Stripe every time for every system, and I've got 20 of them probably, and they all dump the money into the same bin.
And every time the email comes in, you do a happy dance. Ka-ching.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now,
The funds are on the funds are on their way.
yeah.
I think that's what it says.
Yeah. Now I think about it, just hearing it through or talking it through, we do have that set up on Pro Business Channel. We have one Stripe account, but for different stuff. But I set up a completely different account for our EIN number for the directory and all that stuff.
Right.
Cool. Were you gonna? I don't know if you already went through the customer onboarding or member onboarding.
Well, what do you mean if we already went through there?
I think you were talking about you were gonna continue that today, or what was the agenda items today? Let me see.
Oh, hey, I don't know if you jumped on late. We just went over
Yeah,
tooltips about onboarding tooltips and stuff like that. So that
Okay. Was that recorded or?
Of course, it's recorded. We'll be on the replay.
Cool. I'll check that out. Cool.
Hey, Frank, I know you said you had to get, I don't know if he's already there, or maybe he left his microphone on and the wind is blowing. Sounds like he was talking, but. Eduardo was asking, do you recommend using the ad blocker message provided in BD banner ads? I don't recommend doing that. To me, it's annoying because it basically screams like we're desperate for money unless you undo the ad blocker. My site's shutting down next week. That's never the message I want to portray to individuals. So I'd recommend not using it. That's just me. I don't know if anybody else has any other things. I definitely wouldn't do the we're not loading anything unless you turn it off kind of thing and just locks down your site unless they unclick it. I definitely would not do that one either. So I wouldn't use either one of them.
Where are those settings? Because I think I have the ad blocker setting where it prompts them to turn off their ad blocker.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Okay.
I usually just
wouldn't
leave
do that, Rick, if you had it. It's right here in the actual design settings of the actual banner ads right there, and it's the ad blocker. I'll pull it up real quick.
I equate that to when you go to an informational site and they want you to log in and create an account. Just don't do it.
That's annoying. Yeah. So under design settings.
Yeah, it's just in the banner ads tab, and then I don't think you have any AdSense or advertise. Do you have stuff on your site anyway?
No, we're planning on it, so I just want to make sure the settings correct. I mean, I think we do have some. Yeah, we do have banner ads on there. But they're more promotional.
It's right here.
Go under ad blocker message,
Yeah.
and just have it disabled.
Yeah, you have it disabled. Otherwise, you can go notification mode, and you can say, I'm trying to make money here. Quit, blocking my ads. And then the other one would be like, I'm desperate for money. Content block mode. I'm desperate for money. Unless you turn it off, we're done here. Whatever that. So those are those two things. I'd always. Again, it depends on what you do. Like if there's some other directory owners, or like I don't charge memberships. It's all free. I just try to get as much traffic as I can, and I have ads on there, and that's how I make my money. And I just generate people coming to the site. Everything's free. I give them a lot of stuff. I don't charge for anything, and it's ads. Well, then maybe that makes sense, right? Maybe you have that on there because that's how you're making your money. And if you're driving that kind of traffic to your site to try to do that and just get the ads, then you don't care if a couple people don't come back, because the majority of people that are coming back that maybe turn off their ad things is making you money, and you don't care, and that's fine. So that's probably the only time I would turn that on is if that's your way of making money. You got nothing else.
Wow, I just I hadn't really looked at this since the early days of setting up the site, and because I use ad blocker on my computer, big time. For all this ads, but yeah. So I'm looking at my settings. It's enabled notification mode. It says ad block title ad block detected. Please disable ad block to support us. Wow, I didn't realize that was on the whole time.
Yeah, the problem with that is that, yeah, there will be some, like Ryan said, that want to support you and don't mind doing it. But I would guess the majority of people just back out of it nowadays.
Right.
So you could be losing eyes on your site.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's other places to go, right? Other fish in the sea to go find whatever they were looking for on your site. So
yeah,
there's another podcasters directory. Come on, guys. I'm the only one on the planet. I mean,
podcastersdirectory.co.
Yeah, nice. Hey, speaking of ad blockers and pop-ups, can you talk about? I wanted to. How do I add the pop-up on the site for like for people to subscribe to the newsletter, rather than being just reactive? How do I put a pop-up up there, say, hey, subscribe to the newsletter?
Again, in the factor of being annoying, you may not want to do that as well.
Okay.
A lot of people that have done it have turned it off, but I still have some clients that still leave it on. So here's an example. And it kind of what you want to do is you want to set it up so it doesn't like do it instantaneously.
Right.
You just want to catch some people that have been on your site long enough where you're gonna catch them to grab their email, right? So here's one. I think it's like 15 seconds or whatever. So let's say you're looking on this for a while, browsing around or whatever, and then it pops up.
Yeah, we have that plugin.
Right. So you can do that and set up the timer if anybody wants to. We can. I can set that up for you guys, but it's a little bit of work or whatever. You got to set up a modal pop up and you can set up a new form or whatever other than the newsletter. The newsletter's already there, obviously, so it's a little bit easier, but you can do that. It's the same pop up. You're basically instead of manually clicking that, right, which has now been turned into a pop up. It was a little bit more difficult before when they didn't have that turned into a pop up system, but now that that's set up to be a pop up system as opposed to just a form, that one's easier to call up and add on there. But you can do it after a certain number of time. Again, just be very careful about, making it like pop up instantaneously or, at a certain page. But you can get Gucci on that stuff too. Like any of these pop-ups that we're talking about that have, the tooltip or whatever, you can set this one up so it does a form, I think, as well. Maybe not. This one doesn't. Some of those other ones where you do a form and it's a pop-up, but you can do it for based on timing, right? Or they're at a certain part of the page, right? When they get down to the bottom of the page, boom, it pops up. But if they never get to that point, or they're taking their time strolling down the rest of the page, they could be on your page for 5 minutes reading everything, and not until they get to the bottom is it going to pop. So again, it depends what system you're using, what the availability is, but.
That's what I recommend. It's always, I don't mind when it pops up, say, in the bottom right-hand corner later on. It's when you go to a site and the first thing you have to do is that pop-up.
Exactly.
Which is very annoying.
We do that on Pro Business Channel. We have a widget or a plugin, I guess, for the email newsletter. But there's half a dozen settings where you can determine it's going to be 20 seconds while they're on their site. It can be based on what page they're on. And then also you can set it where if they've exited out, it's not going to pop up again. I guess it ties into their cookies or their caches or whatever, so that because that gets annoying when you've exited on one page and every page you go to it just keeps popping up. So that's our preferred settings. Is it gives them one time because there's a lot of content on there, and we are getting some newsletters subscribers, but they may not be proactive and scroll down to the bottom or click on it. Plus on their cell phone, allows it to do it too. Now, the other thing on the form is, do you have a thought on kind of, let's say, best practices? But people that are subscribing, the form, the way it's set up right now, it's just your name, which people will put their first and last name on one line. I have to manually go into the newsletter subscribers form, or not the form itself, but into the back office and change their field so it has first and last name. I mean, but
Well, you can edit that newsletter form with whatever you want. It's just a general form. So you want first name, last name in there. You want a birth date for sending them a card. You can add whatever you want in there.
Right. Well, I think I would like to separate field names for first and last names, so I don't have to manually, because, when I start to send them a newsletter, it's going to say, hi, Tom Jones, instead of just hi, Tom, whatever,
Right.
It only has one field name.
Yeah.
And then speaking of fields and names and forms, I think we talked about this before, but maybe Deborah, because it's always interesting to have other people's insight on it, Mark or Eduardo, whoever, but it gets annoying when people are signing up for one of the membership, especially any of the membership levels, and the default is they only put in their email address and a password. So they're not even putting in their name. So I'm having people sign up and it just comes up as member.
Yeah, we've had this conversation this week, I think, Ryan, or last week. That's just something that we have no control over, right?
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be able to. I think we were having a problem with that with some other directories too. It's supposed to be able to port in if you're using the same variables, port that over to your actual listing. So if you have the problem was, I think back when they originally did it, because the credit card requires your full name.
Right.
When it charges it, that was a full name variable as opposed to the back end of your system had first name and last name, and so the variables didn't match up. It wasn't passing that over. I think they changed it now where you should be able to put first name, or they have that down as the credit card, so it's only asking for one name, but it's the first name variable is just kind of in the background where it should be able to parse that over. But now you have the opposite problem where you're using the first name variable, they're filling in the full name, and then even if it does swap out the member, it now has the full name and the first name thing. So now instead of going in there to add the first and last name, you're just basically going back in there to taking the last name out of the first name slot and putting it into the last name. And then I don't think it was passing over properly anyway. It was still putting member and not passing it over, even if you wanted to do that. So
it's a new issue though, because I didn't have it it only started happening in about the last month.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody that signed up, they would automatically, I'd say, John Smith is there. Because even in the form, like in the confirmation form, it says your account's been activated, John Smith. But then I go into the admin area and it just says member. There's no John Smith listed.
Yeah, it's to do with one of these changes Ryan was just talking about. BD's recently made a change that has now changed that, because we have only experienced it the past month or so. And I asked Ryan because I had all my fields are mandatory pretty much in my form.
Right.
So I was wondering why these membership listings were appearing on the homepage unfinished, just saying member. But
yeah, those required form names does not trigger until they open said form. So if you have it automated where it's live if they pay or they're a member or whatever, and they don't go into their listing and put their first name and last name, it's going to show up on the site. It won't trigger them in the sign up that it's not missing stuff, because it hasn't loaded that contact details form to know that they're missing anything. But as soon as they log into their site or click the contact details, then it's going to pop up and they try to save it without their first name or last name.
It's required.
It's going to flag it at that point, but that's only when they go in their profile to edit it.
it's still something new though, because at the very beginning I had members that weren't filling out their but they still were never and mine are always active, but they weren't appearing on my homepage unfinished until about a month ago. So it has to do something to do with an update. So,
well, have you guys contacted tech support at all, or?
I've got that on my list. I think Ryan, you told me to put something in, and
I think I did already too. Somebody needs to ask on the next webinar. So, it's probably what needs to happen, because I think it's one of those things. I think they don't realize that so many people are seeing it or getting annoyed by it, and not that they're not telling the truth, but a lot of times you're like, well, this is the first time we've heard, or nobody else has complained about that. And you're like, I'm pretty sure they have, but I don't know.
Yeah, we just don't want any I don't want anything on my homepage that has like no photo, and that's why it's set no profile picture. You don't have a listing until that gets filled out, things like that. So it's probably a simple fix.
Eduardo was asking, this is a little off topic, but it says when a member's not logged in and wants to review a member, it takes them to the login page. Is it possible to take them back to the review page automatically as soon as they register or log in. And I thought it did. I thought it
Well, you
maybe
can
not register. Maybe the register part is the part that doesn't. But if you go to leave a review and you ask for you to log in, as soon as you log in, it does kick back or should back to that review page. So if that is not doing that for you, Eduardo, there's something wrong with the system. It should do that. Now the register, I don't know, because that basically, it has a whole different sequence there. You pay, and then it triggers that other system to go to a particular page after they sign in, and it's probably not the review page they were originally on. So I don't think it's going to do that. But again, everybody knows where the back button's at. They can just go back and do the review. So it's not that big a problem. But the login should go back automatically. I think we're at our time for today. I'm just we can stick around for a couple last questions here. I want to sign off for everybody in recording land. So again, thanks for everybody joining today. Directoryvideos.com, directorytoolkit.com, and again, directorywebinar.com if you want to watch next week or sign up for any following things. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. Thanks.
Thanks. Are you taking a break for Christmas or